Welcome to North Wales. We're paying a visit to Rhos Tackle Shop, and then we're going to decide where we're going. We had a chat with the owner, bought some bait, a couple of rigs, jobs are good, and there we go. Alright guys, this is Paul, first time with us, so straight off at bat I showed him how to hook up a rig. We're using 3-hook flappers, so I cast it out for him just to show him how to get on. We give it 20 minutes and it's time for a bait change. So he had a go. We made a slight mistake there, but we laughed it off. Jobs are good, and it happens to everyone. So there's no hard feelings or out daft like that. It's just get it wound in and get it thrown back out. Anyway, when he does it again in a few seconds, I see that he does much better. He gets a reasonable way out, which we were happy with, and then he lays it down, tightens up his rod, and he's good to go. So in the meantime, I'm setting up a smaller rod. This is just a small spinning rod. I've put a Dexter wedge on it, so the idea is that you can just practice casting, and if we're lucky enough, maybe we can get something. Earlier in the day, just as we arrived on the new pier, there were two gentlemen that had caught 2 mackerel, which is unusual in these weather conditions. It's really windy, it were really wet, so we didn't expect it, but 2 guys got something, so fair play to them. So now we've got Steve reeling in. He didn't get a strike. If you were watching the tip of his rod, he didn't get a strike. His line went very slack, so whatever fish, if it were a fish, picked it up and brought it closer to the rod, and then he felt it, so I just lifted it in for him to give him a hand. We do keep an eye on each other's rods, try and help each other out. Then we'll get you a quick close-up in a minute. Nice little doggy. We had a bit of bother getting the hook out, and it actually snapped on us, so I just went in and popped it out of its mouth. Unfortunately they do bleed a little bit, a bit more than some other fish anyway. That's Paul just rubbing the skin of the fish, because it is like sandpaper. It's just unreal how different it is. So we don't keep dogfish, well, not at the moment anyway, so hook out and return safely back to the water. So all at dogfish today, when we did return them, just swam away straight away. That's good news. And there's a smile on Steve's face with his catch. Anyway, back to Paul. He's rebaiting now. We told him every 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. Nab comes over for a chat, make sure he's alright, see what's going on. No problem. But like I say, when someone's moving about, talking to us or whatever else, we do keep an eye on each other's rods, because they can lift, they can go in water. Paul's got a couple of questions about what's going on. He mentioned that he were happier now that he had that slight bend in his rod, because his light were tighter, sorry. Here comes Nav, and boom, as soon as he come over to have a quick chat, his rod were bending. So we'll take you over. Nice consistent reeling there. He did actually tell us that he thought he was stuck on a couple of occasions. But we assume that the catch, whatever, were getting caught up in the rocks. There's only a few rocks to the left or the right, but bang in the middle there's loads of them. So I've got my pliers ready just in case he needs an hand. And again, he's lifting it up out of water instead of reeling it in all the way. Getting rid of seaweed on his hands. There we go, another nice healthy doggy. Now, they do squirm like mad. It does mean that if you're using something like a free hook flapper like what we're using, they can get tangled up. We don't want hooks all over the place by any means, but you have to be quite firm with them. So you need to ideally, there we go, just like he's doing now, we grab it by the head and the tail. And this shut its mouth on us as soon as I went to get the hook out. So we try to entice it to open its mouth, and eventually we just had to pull back on its nose and it open its mouth for us so we can just pop that hook out. Then just untangle because it had writhed around a bit. Somewhere between 18 and 22 inch. Not massive by any stretch, but at least he caught. So most of the other videos in this show me camera pointing in the other direction. It was just to keep the rain off my lens. See, it was absolutely bucketing it down. Back we go. Right, so this is the right hand side of the pier. This is where we're advised to go, particularly where Steve is now, and that came to be true. Steve getting 2 doggies during our visit. So Steve just rebaited, casted in, tightened his line up. That's the usual thing for us. Every 20 to 30 minutes, no problem. He's on a 3-hook flapper on the rod on the left hand side. Nothing unusual. Now, just off camera to the left, Paul's practicing casting with a spinning rod. Again, just with a Dexter wedge, nothing fancy. Throw it out, come back in. Unfortunately, he miscast. So, in a minute, you're going to see him, or well, you won't see him. He casts over 2 of Steve's rod, or over the lines. So there's Steve with his second rod back out, sets it up, tightens his line, back over, jobs are good. Right, these videos are sped up. Any second now, they're going to go back to normal speed, and you'll see what a couple of the guys thought were him casting over the line, and it wasn't. Left hand rod now. There. There's no way that a 20 gram Dexter wedge is lifting that rod off the ground by 18 inches. So I'm feeling for fighting on the other end. Paul's come round to clear his line out of the way, and yeah, it's there, it's fighting. So told Steve, take hold of your rod, start reeling. So like I say, we watch each other's rods to see what's going on, just to help out. We noticed that the fish had swam over to the left, which put him over the other rod. So simply just ducking underneath him, helping him out, getting the other line out of the way, just makes life easier. You don't really want to snag when you've got a fish on hand. And again, we just lift it line up. And there we go. Steve's second doggy, another nice size, pushing 2 foot long. So Steve's just getting his pliers. Mini celebration there. Now unfortunately there's no audio on these videos. It were too wet and windy for me to put the microphone on, hence the me chatting over the top of what's happening and giving you commentary. Yep, bonny looking fish. And again, quick wipe. The fish goes back in sea for another day. So that was his final catch between us. It was a good day. We did get absolutely soaking wet, but me and Steve have both got 3-piece suits on. They really saved the day. All his clothes were dry underneath. You get wet when you get changed anyway afterwards, but still, while we were fishing we were dry, which was great. And actually, as always, Wales is a nice place. We're near Colwyn Bay. It's just pretty good to be down there, to be honest. Nice day out for us. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. We're just going to have a bit of a swap about in a minute. I go to the left hand side at pier, Paul comes on right, just to give him a chance. It's what we do, swap it up, change his rigs, put on a pulley pennel, go back to a 3-hook flapper, whichever suits. What I did note was all 3 dogfish were caught on rag, not black, which I was surprised at, but nothing touched the black at all. It was just there for no reason whatsoever. So yeah, ragworm saved the day.
Selfie.
So it rained a lot. Steve caught 2 dogfish. Nice to see. And I've got 1, even though he won't watching his bloody rod. Not bitter in the slightest. Anyway, we've done about 4 or 5 hours. Calling it a day now, so it's time for a pub lunch. So here's the boys.
Hey.
All the best. See you next time.